This one's for Africa. Na 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 eh oh ino ni no ni ni ni. Na 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 ni no ni no ni no ni no. Let's do this. Okay, I guess we're live. Holy shit, that was fast. Awesome. Hey, YouTube, I guess we're live here first, which is crazy. I love that. Let's see. No, wait. Nope. Go live. Oh my gosh. No. What's going on? Go live. Hey, Hall. Hey, ya Hall. What's up? All right, so we're going to go live into Facebook. Save. There we go. Sorry, folks. Complicated business. You know how it goes. Vegas Nerve live call-in show. Boom. Yay, we're live. Finally. Oh, yes. Amazing. What is up, everybody? How you doing? All right, so cool. We got live video is working. Today we're going to be doing a question and answer show. I have a lot of questions that I've been asked that I need to address. Lots of important questions that are very important to address here. So we're going to go through some of the questions that people have asked over the last week or so. And kind of culminate those into something good. But before we do that, we're going to do our simultaneous breath. Ready? Everybody, you know the drill. We're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to stimulate our vagus nerve through our breath alone. It's going to be so good. Ready? Here we go. And then hold, squeeze. For 5 seconds. And exhale. Very good. Awesome. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through some of the questions that people have been asking me through Facebook, through YouTube, through whatever, and just go through those questions systematically for the benefit of the larger group of people as well as people watching the replays. I didn't realize it, but apparently a lot of people watch the replays. Can you believe it? I actually got contacted by the CEO of a huge vagus nerve stimulation company because of he watches me on YouTube. So that was like crazy. He's like, dude, I've watched 3 of your live videos. They're amazing. He's like, but you said one thing about the device. I just want to clarify one thing. And so he wanted to, correct me on the record there. But it was cool. So clearly these are having some kind of an impact. Yay, Charlene. Good to see you. Yay. Also, sorry about the later check on. It was just running out with the wifey out and about. I was like, we gotta get back. So anyway, okay, so today we're gonna go over questions that I've been asked over the last week, and then also taking questions from chat. So if you right now, you should be formulating questions in your brain about the vagus nerve or not your particular symptoms, but someone who is not you. You catch my drift? Ask general questions of, is this related to the vagus nerve or not? That's kind of a very fun game. Hey, Bevan, good to see you. I'll just type the rules into the chat. Is this related to the vagus nerve or not? That's literally the name of the game. Generally speaking, vast majority of the questions I get are, is this related to my vagus nerve or not? So if you have a specific symptom or something you want to ask about, ask that in the chat. I will be sure to answer you. And you can sometimes I'm typing on my phone with my thumbs and I want to type out this big long message, but sometimes it's really hard to capture all the nuance of what I really want to say just through text. So it's great to be able to speak it. But I hate sending voice messages to people. on Messenger, because I personally don't I don't love listening to voice messages. Just saying. Especially, like, sometimes people leave a 3-minute voice message. I have no idea what it's going to be about. I literally just try not to listen to them. Like, can you please just summarize it for me if possible? So anyway, okay. So question I got today: high blood pressure, high heart rate, high BP, high HR. Okay, so I'm going to address that one. High blood pressure, high heart rate. Is that vagus nerve related or not? Well, it is related to the vagus nerve, but in an interesting way. I would say that high blood pressure and high heart rate are an indication of low vagal tone, meaning something is not functioning with your vagus nerve the way that it should. That's what I would say. The reason I say that is because your vagus nerve, generally speaking, has a middle, a high, and a low tone. There are symptoms or lack thereof symptoms at each level. So there are certain types of things that happen in your body when your vagus tone, the overall vagus nerve activity on average, is very low. There are symptoms that happen when it's very high. If you have high blood pressure and high heart rate, that would indicate to me categorically that there's generally very low vagal tone. Why would that be happening? A couple reasons why you would have high blood pressure and high heart rate. It would mean that something with your vagus nerve is not working. Diagnosing that would say, what can impinge your vagus nerve? What can harm or halt your vagus nerve from working properly? Your vagus nerve can get pinched in your neck. Your vagus nerve can get pinched by your atlas bone in your neck. That can cause low vagal tone. That can increase your blood pressure and your heart rate at the same time. So that would be an indication of a pinched vagus nerve. That's one way that it can happen. Another way that can happen is malnutrition. If you're not getting enough choline in your diet, then your body's not able to produce the neurotransmitter that your vagus nerve needs to function. So maybe I'll say this a little bit slower. If your vagus nerve is pinched in your neck and or your vagus nerve doesn't have adequate levels of acetylcholine, I'll write that in the chat. A lot of people need to see that spelt out. Acetylcholine, that is the neurotransmitter of the vagus nerve. You need to be supplementing or eating a diet that's rich in choline for sure. Otherwise, you risk really, I would say, depletion of vagal tone, and that's dangerous. That can be really bad. So those are two potential sources of issues that can cause your vagus nerve to have low tone. Another one I would say is just the general lack of stimulation. General lack of stimulation. We might, if I'm going to be funny or a marketer, I would say GLOS. Oh no, I lost my chat. What the hell happened? Well, for some reason, I lost all chat functionality, so that's fun. I don't know if I need to refresh or something like that. That's really weird. Okay. Can anybody see me? Okay, chat is back. That chat just disappeared for a second. Okay, so what I was going to say is GLOS equals general lack of stimulation. GLOS. That would be a generalized condition where your vagus nerve is not getting any type of stimulation at all. It'd be the same thing. GLOS is to your vagus nerve as a sedentary lifestyle is to your muscles. Okay. General lack of stimulation is to your vagus nerve what a sedentary, non-moving lifestyle is to your muscles. Do you guys follow that? If I'm not clear, please write a question mark. If I am clear, type a yes or a happy face. You guys know happy face? Happy face is okay, I get that. That makes sense. Question mark is, I don't get it. I don't get what you're saying. Let me expand a little bit on what GLOS could look like. Okay, nice. We got a big smile from Charlene. Awesome. Good to see you, Charlene, by the way. So much cool stuff going on in the vagus nerve world, by the way. I can't wait to share more of that. But Bevan, cool. So Bevan's yes with teeth. Awesome. Okay, so you can develop a condition of low vagal tone simply because you don't know how to stimulate it at all. Stimulation of the vagus nerve. So think of it like this. Before we dive into what stimulating the vagus nerve could be, let's first look at how would you treat a sedentary lifestyle? So if you had a sedentary lifestyle, you weren't getting outside, you weren't moving your body that much, we know that your muscles will atrophy and your muscles will get smaller and weaker, and you just lose a lot of strength. And if you've been sedentary for months and months and months, then your muscles will have a very hard time coming back, even if you start walking again, if you start moving your body again. So that is what a sedentary lifestyle does to muscles. There's a similar condition with the vagus nerve called GLOS, and that's just a generalized lack of stimulation. GLOS, okay? GLOS is where you're not properly toning your vagus nerve. Toning your vagus nerve could be things that are natural. You don't hum. You don't speak that much. You don't sing. You don't breathe much. You don't hold your breath. You don't do a Valsalva squeeze. You don't actively relax your body. You just kind of zone out. You know, getting home and zoning out in front of the television is not the same as actively relaxing. Even though you're relaxing in front of the TV, it doesn't necessarily mean completely that your vagus nerve is all that active. Eating a lot of food can at first stimulate your vagus nerve. But what starts to happen with overeating, eating too much, is that you can desensitize the vagus nerve to stimulation from food. So food can at first be a way to stimulate your vagus nerve, but it's not a great long-term strategy. And it will lead to other complications as well. And especially if you're overeating processed junk food, the processed junk food is so rich, it's got so many additives in it that are specifically designed to stimulate your vagus nerve intentionally, that you begin to develop a condition where you're overeating, and too much of that processed food then begins to decay your vagus nerve. So it'd be like a corollary example to what that would look like from a sedentary lifestyle is that if somebody said, well, Sterling, you know, I don't want to breathe. I don't want to do any of this vagus nerve stuff. Can I just sit at home and do it some way different? Then I'd say, you know, sure. I mean, whatever. Maybe I wouldn't say that, but maybe a lesser expert would say, if somebody was at home and not able to move or not willing to move, that they would then have them lay down, and you could potentially on paper fix a sedentary lifestyle by hooking electrical devices up to their body and stimulating their muscles to contract like this. So could you technically, on paper, mitigate some of the downsides? Could you mitigate some of the downsides to living a sedentary lifestyle by getting a TENS unit and strapping it to every muscle on that person's body, and for 2 hours a day have their whole body, all their muscles go zzz, 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 like that? So could you electrically stimulate someone's entire body and decrease some of the downsides to that person living a sedentary lifestyle? If you guessed yes, you are correct. For a small amount of time, you can electrically stimulate muscles so that they do not lose tone, because your muscles have tone as well. Your vagus nerve has tone and your muscles have tone. That's why I'm able to keep my head up without functionally keeping my head up, because the muscles in my neck, they have tone and they have a constant kind of background tone. Like I can hold my hand up like this and my fingers don't move because the muscles have tone. And if I lost tone to my hand, completely, my hand would just drop. But I'm able to hold my hand up because I have constant tone going to all the muscles on the top of my arm. But if you cut the nerve in my neck that goes to my arm, my hand, all the muscles would lose tone and it would fall down. We've seen that before. You know, you've seen people who maybe they're in a fight and they get punched in the face. You've seen people just drop. And it's because what happens is their brain loses tone and their whole body loses muscle tone. And so they go like that. They get put out. They fall down. Usually they hit their head really hard on the ground. They crack their skull. And then what happens is they have what's called an automated boxing response. So have you ever seen someone fall down and get punched after getting punched in the face? Where they go like this? Like that. You ever seen that? That's called the boxing response. I watch a lot of fighting videos on Twitter. Just a little thing about me. When I'm not posting on Facebook, I'm over on Twitter watching those fight videos, like street fight videos, where people are just like, you know, high schoolers punching each other out. It's just glorious. There's like 10 new videos like that per day on Twitter. It's just insane. So I'm just like, oh, okay. That the world is fucked up. Oh wow, the world is really fucked up. Oh my god, the world is really fucked up. So anyway, that's what the boxing response is. So when you lose tone, your whole brain shuts down. Your muscles lose tone. But could you put electrical stimulation to the whole body? And you could technically, if you were really clever at it, make someone walk like, if they were completely like Weekend at Bernie's. You know the movie Weekend at Bernie's from the 1980s, where it was that the millionaire who died, and in order for the grandchildren to get his inheritance, they had to fake that he was alive. So they put sunglasses on his eyes and they walk him around, you know, Weekend at Bernie's style. So if you were Weekend at Bernie style, you could technically, if you were really good at it, you could put enough electrodes on someone's body, and if you carefully like timed it, you could make someone walk by artificially giving them electrical stimulation to their muscles. So you could perpetuate a dead body to have movement if you use the right combination of electrical stimulation. So the same thing is generally true with the vagus nerve. You can, if your vagus nerve is so bad, if it's so hurt, you can put electrodes on your neck, on your ear. You can implant them. And you could do what we would call Weekend at Bernie's stimulation of the vagus nerve. 100%. If somebody was like, my vagus nerve is dead. If it's dead, though, it's dead. But if you're still alive, and there's a chance. Now, if somebody said, Sterling, I have a sedentary lifestyle, what I would personally do is before I said, well, let's hook you up to a bunch of electrical stimulators and start blasting your muscles to get you active. No, I would say, can we try walking a little bit inside? Could we maybe try getting you some shoes that you like wearing and walk outside to your front porch? That's how I would resolve a sedentary lifestyle situation. My first instinct wouldn't be, let's put some electrodes on it. If that person were already getting some exercise and they were eating right and they had a good mindset and they were trying their best, but they needed still a little bit of oomph because maybe what they were showing was that they had, maybe on their left side of their body, they had some weakness on the left side. Like the muscles were already atrophied on the left side and they were trying to match their right side. In that case, I would use an electrical stimulator to boost back the muscles before the brain had the chance to connect with them. So when you're balancing things, I think you can do electrical stimulation. But you have to have like a good use case. The person already has to be like exercising and realizing that, oh, wow, I have muscle weakness in one part of my body. I think I should apply some electrical stimulation selectively to boost that one area first. That is where stimulation from a device should be used. So, anyway, GLOS, generalized lack of stimulation of the vagus nerve, can be due to lots of things. And the way you start that again is you start breathing, humming, being social, getting sun, and you try all those things first. You try healthy food, not processed food. You sing, you do karaoke, you do all kinds of things. And if those things still don't work yet, then you go for stimulation. So if you have, again, just to wrap this part up, high blood pressure and high heart rate, first thing you should look at is what can influence that. High heart rate could be a result of sedentary. High blood pressure could be a result of maybe too much salt or not enough salt. You know, you want to look down the list. And then you also want to ask yourself, could my vagus nerve be pinched in my neck? You can pinch the vagus nerve in your neck. So how do you fix that? Well, stimulating your vagus nerve, if you have a pinched nerve, isn't going to fix it completely yet. You need to be doing like neck traction. You need to be moving. You need to be strengthening the muscles in your neck before you go for something like stimulation. Then you need to eat choline. You need to have choline in your diet to get acetylcholine. Scroll back up to the chat if you need to see the spelling. I posted that before. Then you need to stimulate. So there's an order of operations of how to do this. So anyway, that was one question that I got, and that's what I want to say. High blood pressure, high heart rate are an indication that there's something with your vagus nerve where it's not working and it's at a low tone. Okay? So that was one area that I thought was really key. Let me think. In terms of, I'm just going to check on one quick thing. I have a list of generally just stuff I want to go over. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to share was the vagus nerve and sleep. I think this is a big one. Vagus nerve and sleep. Okay, so I'm going to cover the aspect of sleep and the vagus nerve. If you have something like insomnia and you're not able to go to sleep and not able to stay asleep, generally speaking, what that means is that your vagus nerve is also low tone, that your vagus nerve is not working properly. Insomnia is an indication of low vagal tone, not high vagal tone. If you stimulate your vagus nerve, you'll typically get higher vagal tone. and you have to balance the stimulation properly. Otherwise, certain types of electrical stimulation can overexcite your vagus nerve and cause other category issues, but those are pretty easy to work with. Low vagal tone, you want to stimulate for sure. Now, one common thing I get with clients who do stimulate their vagus nerve for the very first time is that they sleep really deeply, they fall asleep almost immediately, and they typically get very vivid dreams at the time. So they fall asleep quickly, they have extremely vivid dreams, and they sleep really deep. They don't tend to wake up. So VNS, vagus nerve stimulation, VNS can be considered as a potential adjunct treatment for insomnia and sleep disorders, possibly. Other than that, those are the main things I wanted to cover today. But I do want to give the opportunity for questions. I want to check with the audience. Do you have any specific call-in type of questions for me about the vagus nerve in general? Anything in particular that is relevant to you, or a question or something like that? Otherwise, I do have a dinner date that I am trying to go to. So I would love to get off a little bit earlier today. Little behind, little ahead, it goes. But I will be back on again tomorrow. We'll have a subject planned for tomorrow that'll be cool. Very exciting. Sometime soon I'll be able to show off some ultrasound devices that I have been developing. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be sharing some very exclusive reveals pretty soon. I believe I'm able to do that. I need to double check with the team, make sure it's okay to show it on camera, but we'll see. But anyway, should be fun. Should be very fun. But anyway, great to be here. I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some good food, good dinner. I'm going to feed my vagus nerve. I'm going to stimulate it with some good food and some great company. So I'll see you later on YouTube. I'll see you tomorrow. And for